Welcome back, guys, and during this video I'm just going to be giving you guys my weekly update in regards to what's going on in the boxing scene right now. So as always, guys, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe and help us grow this channel even further. So first of all, I'm going to start with Boxing News 24 and see what some of their latest headlines are. One of their main headlines on their internet page is that Josh Taylor and Conor Benn, they pretty much go at it on social media, and both of them, trading insults against each other. Do you know what I mean? And to be honest, for myself, I would, this would be a very interesting fight if it was to happen. Obviously, currently with Ben, there's a lot going on in regards to whether or not he could fight this year, or he has to wait until his case gets heard with obviously the British Board of Boxing. But obviously, Josh Taylor, he hasn't really looked himself in his last two fights. His second to last fight against his recent fight, which was against Jack Catterall, he pretty much obviously went the distance, got given the decision, even though most people thought that he lost against Catterall. And then his most recent fight, which was against Teofimo, he just didn't look himself, and he just looked an old Josh Taylor. Do you know what I mean? So realistically, this could be a good fight between the pair, and hopefully, see what could happen, because it would be Ben's first fight back since obviously all the stuff that's gone on. And obviously Josh Taylor, he will be moving up to 140, so it'd be interesting to see what could happen between both guys in terms of their career going forward. Now, another headline, on their page, on Boxing 24's page, is that Martin Bakole looks like he's the front runner, to face Tyson Fury next. He believes, and his trainer, that he will be Tyson Fury's toughest opponent yet. And he believes that if he does beat Tyson Fury, that he could potentially earn a lot more money. Now, he is right, obviously, if he does beat Tyson Fury, he will obviously get a lot more money, because he could potentially demand a lot more in the rematch. But he's got to actually beat Tyson Fury in the first place, and I can't see that happening. Although he is a strong, rugged, tough fighter coming forward, I just don't feel as if he's got the skills to beat a Tyson Fury. The only way he beats Tyson Fury in my eyes is if Tyson Fury gets sloppy, puts his chin in the air and gets clipped and gets knocked out. Now, another story as well, which on Boxing 24's page, is that Eddie Hearn is looking to make Devin Haney versus Regis Progress next, and this fight will be for a heavyweight, because obviously Haney is obviously the undisputed champion in his weight class, so he's looking to maybe move up and challenge, the junior welter, which is obviously Progress. He's pretty much the main man now. Obviously, Josh Taylor's been dethroned. He hasn't got no titles in the division. Teo's recently won his obviously title, which he beat Josh Taylor, but he's also vacated that title, which reports have been said. So it's quite interesting with that fight. Progress didn't really look good in his last fight, but I think styles makes fights, really, and I think someone like a Haney, with him moving up, being the top man in his division, I think Progress will really train for this and really come up and try and actually make a statement to try and show that he is far better than Devin Haney. And another fight which happened on the weekend, which obviously Boxing 24 reported, is obviously the Tim Tszyu fight. He stopped his opponent with a devastating, was it a left hook, I think? After dropping him previously with a straight right, I think it was. And that was in the first round. So he's looking like a big puncher as well. And he was previously meant to fight Jamel Charlo, and that fight got called off because I think Jamel had a broken hand or was having surgery or something to his hand. So at some point, I think the governing bodies will call for that fight between both guys. Again, I'll be looking forward to that fight if it does get made. I think Tim Tszyu will ask Jamel a lot of questions. And I think it could be a fight where Jamel's heart, will be tested in that fight. I think he will be. I think Tim Tszyu will ask him a lot of questions, and it's whether or not he's got the willpower, the desire to stay in there and battle through them demons as well. Now, some other headlines, you know what I mean, in Sky Sports, what they're currently going on with their website is that, you know what I mean, Ben Shalom, obviously the promoter, is looking to make, do you know what I mean, a rematch between Chris Eubank Jr. versus Liam Smith. Now, obviously, Liam Smith stopped Eubank in the first fight, which come out of nowhere. No one really saw Liam doing what he did to Eubank. You know what I mean? Yeah, how he stopped him. No one saw that coming. Do you know what I mean? Most people thought, yeah, Liam probably would have beat him on points, but knocking him out, you know what I mean, pretty much stopping him was a shock to everyone. But these guys, you know what I mean, after that fight, you know what I mean, there's a lot of talk, etc. They were meant to, you know what I mean, to have a rematch in July, but some sort of injury to Smith postponed that. The fight was meant to happen a couple of weeks later, but obviously something else happened and it didn't go ahead. And now, you know what I mean, Shalom is looking to try and put on the rematch maybe late August/September. So yeah, again, an intriguing fight. I think Eubank's got a lot to, you know what I mean, to try and do in that fight, because realistically the way he lost, you know what I mean, 9 times out of 10, do you know what I mean, the winner always wins the rematch in my eyes, do you know what I mean? And even now I'm probably edging more towards Liam Smith. I think Liam Smith will beat him. I don't think he will knock him out. Anything could happen, but I think he will beat Eubank on points this time, and I think it'll be quite comprehensive. Do you know what I mean? And I think he's just got the number for Chris Eubank Jr. But as I say, anything could happen in boxing. But yeah, hopefully if that goes ahead, brilliant. But there was also some talks, you know what I mean, most recently between Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, as I said earlier, you know what I mean, Conor Benn's got all that fiasco going on in the background, and there was some talk. Eddie Hearn recently, last week, was saying, that the fight could be made in Saudi or something like that between both of them. So it's quite interesting to see exactly what's going on next with Chris Eubank Jr. Do you know what I mean? Is it going to be Smith? Is it going to be Conor Benn? We don't know. I think one thing we're kind of guaranteed is that Eubank Jr. will fight at some point this year, but we just don't know who against. I'm quite certain as well that we will see Conor Benn back in the ring this year as well. I'm not sure what's going on with the British Board of Boxing or whatever, but I think with all the reports that's going on, I feel as if we will see Conor Benn back in, and I don't feel as if it would be a big name. I feel as if it would be a relatively lesser opponent, but I think it's just an opponent which we're just getting back into the swing of things, so that he could try and state a claim for his division as well. And lastly, I'm going to finish off with just a couple of little stories with Sky Sports Boxing. Obviously, Fraser Clark fought recently. He demolished his opponent. Not demolished, that's probably the wrong word I've used, but he defeated his opponent, Marius Wack, on points, but it was quite comfortable and comprehensive victory. It was on points. I think it was 100-90, you know what I mean? So realistically, every judge had him winning every round. But Wack is a tough opponent, you know what I mean, in the heavyweight division, and is very durable. So I think that those 10 rounds that Clark did will put him in good stead, do you know what I mean, going forward. And he's now calling out the British champion, which is Wardley. A brilliant fight if that could get made. I don't see it being a fight that I think Wardley would go for next. I feel as if, you know what I mean, he should probably try and maybe go for an Adelaide. You know what I mean, smash Adelaide, maybe either vacate or go for Clark. It's up to him then. But the last one I'm going to finish off with, and I thought this one was a little bit of a joke, really. It's Tommy Fury. Do you know what I mean? He, you know what I mean, is pretty much a bit of a joke, really. With his statements, which you recently put out. He pretty much said that his caliber of fighters that he's fighting at the minute, you know what I mean, a lot on the world level, do you know what I mean, type of opponents such as Jake Paul, KSI, and he said this into Vidal Riley's recent fight, because you know what I mean, Vidal Riley and him, they're having a little back and forth, etc. And he was pretty much saying to Vidal Riley that you're not on my level. You know what I mean? You're not on that world level stage yet, sort of thing. And I thought that was a bit of a weird statement for him to say, because he is nowhere near. You know what I mean? I don't think that Tommy Fury's on the British level scene, but he's making a lot of money because there's a lot of money in YouTube boxing at the minute. But I think it's the case where, do you know what I mean? For him to be disrespecting and, you know what I mean, saying that he's better than, you know what I mean, active pro boxers, do you know what I mean, who are fighting heartbeats, I think that's a bit disrespectful. And, you know what I mean, for me, I'd like Tommy to actually get in there and stop talking the talk and start walking it and fight against some half decent boxers, not no YouTubers, you know what I mean, some half decent boxers, and let's see what he could do, because he's still young, do you know what I mean? Is I guess he's a fit young lad, you know what I mean? Obviously he keeps himself in good nick, you know what I mean? It's just the boxing, you know what I mean? Realistically, he got dropped against Jake Paul, and he shouldn't have really got dropped against Jake Paul, because he's the boxer and Jake Paul isn't the boxer. But it is what it is. For me, as I said, you know what I mean, I'd like to see him walk instead of talk to talk. And he's a little bit like his brother or cousin, whatever, I don't know. Tyson Fury at the moment, who he's, you know what I mean, doesn't know what he's pretty much doing or who he's fighting, but it'd be interesting. But anyway, that's just a couple of stories which are doing the rounds at the moment, you know what I mean, in regards to the boxing. As far, I keep you guys updated. Let me know what you guys think about some of the fights that I've mentioned and some of the stories as well. Do you know what I mean? And as always, please like and subscribe for more boxing related content. Bless.